Okay, today is October 4th, 2013. My name is Christina Brown McElhaney, interviewing for the Centennial Oral History Project. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I just ask you your name, the year you graduated, and the degree you received?
Here in Cranford, and I got out in 1963.
And what'd you get your degree in?
I'm a coach of physical education.
Okay. Let's talk about why you came to the university.
Well, Coach Brumlow was the head coach at the time, and he recruited me, and he was such a great man. When I came out to visit, there was 4 from my high school team that came out here, and I was the only one that ended up going. One went to Tech, and one went to Baylor. I don't know other, but anyhow, I came out here, and he was a man that said, "I'll sign all the papers you want, but a handshake is good. If you shake my hand, my word is good as long as you make your grades and stay eligible and conduct yourself." And he was a man of his word. We had a kid that played 1 year, came out, and he didn't cut the mustard. He stayed on and got a 5-year degree, and all he did was hand out the sheets and the pillows and help keep the dorm over in Miners Hall. He didn't have to do workouts, didn't have to do a thing, and as heroes, we had to go out and play football. And in 1956, we won the Border Conference. We beat Texas Tech, Arizona State, New Mexico State, Hardin-Simmons, West Texas State. We got beat in the Sun Bowl of 57 Sun Bowl by George Washington. On our team, we had such famous players as Don Maynard, who's in the Football Hall of Fame. He played 2 positions down. I was a guard. He was behind me. Bob Larraba, who was drafted by the Chargers, who was killed early his rookie year. We had a good team, and then Coach Brumlow retired and moved up to athletic director, and then Ben Collins became the head coach, who I'm going to go see here shortly. He was a good one. We only had 3 coaches. Had Coach Collins, Coach Brumlow, and Coach Waters, and Mo, the trainer. Mo kept us all together. I mean, he worked and didn't have a bunch of modern stuff. It was a whirlpool and a shocking machine and a hot box or a sweat box, and that's how he kept us going. Also that same year, we won the basketball championship, Border Conference. The only time in school history that both football and basketball won a conference championship. There was 20 freshmen that came in my freshman year, and 5 basketball players that came in, and a bunch of us, most of our bunch, graduated. Some of us took a long time, me, but we had a good time playing. We had a good track team. Mo was the track coach at the time. He recruited, I think, three a year, maybe 4 sometimes. We didn't get to bring in a whole bunch, but we had to go both ways. When you started, you was on that field. If you left, you could leave and come back in the quarter one time. But if you tried to sneak in, it was a 15-yard penalty. So we played both ways, went down on kickoff, went down on punts. We were out there. My last game I played 42 minutes out of the 60 minutes. We had fun.
Tell me a little bit about Coach Collins.
Coach Collins, he was a real fair person. He was our backfield coach my freshman year, and then he moved up to the head coach, and he was fair. He put up a lot with me and the other people too. We had some characters on our team, but he was good. His assistants coaches were Coach Waters and then Kenneth George, who was the captain on the 56 team. He student assistant, I guess, or worked on his master's, whatever it was. That was the coaches we had, and then the next year we had Benny Bob Plumley came in, and Dale, Coach Walker came in about that time. So we never did have a whole bunch of coaches, but Coach Collins, he had a distinguished career in the service during World War II. He didn't talk about it much, but he was good. He always treated us fair. And
What made him such a good coach?
what made him such a good coach? He is a man of his word. He would, Aaron, you do this, and you get this. Aaron, you do this, and this is going to happen. He didn't show favoritism. If you was a star and you did that, it happened to him. If you was a scrub and you did that, same thing going to happen. So he was a man of his word, and I like it, just like Coach Brumlow was. Shook hands. You got a 4-year scholarship, and the engineers, some of them took 5, and you had a scholarship. And what more can you want from a person?
Tell me a little bit about the facilities during that time.
I don't know what they call it now, but we had the dressing room under the old gym over. I don't know the name of it. It was very dark, damp, smelly. Wasn't very nice. I mean, it was terrible, but it was ours. We had our training room was maybe as big as this room right here, maybe this big, and we could walk out and then go right out to Kid Field, and we didn't have a practice field. We practiced on Kid Field, and we had the track there. We had some good track athletes when I was here also. Let's see.
Did you ever get discouraged as a football player
Oh
sometimes?
God, yes. Oh yes. When you get demoted and your ego goes down, you know, because I did something dumb, and you get demoted. I would get discouraged. When you get beat, the last time we played Arizona State was they had dedicated their homecoming, dedicated the new stadium. It was the big deal. We had beat them out there 28-0 2 years before. They put a beating on us, and I got discouraged. The biggest, I guess, mistake, I was discouraged the Aggies up here beat us. And I think it was my fault because I missed a play and we didn't score. And my man made the tackle. Of course, the Aggies were good that year. They were really good. They sent 5 to the pros. I can name them all, but anyhow, they were really good. We were good, but we got down there close, and I missed the block. Didn't do good. Maynard, he's in the Hall of Fame. We had Bob Larrabee was a good player. We had some more. The Forest boys out of Carlsbad were great. One was a quarterback, one was an end. Had a bunch. The West Texas and Southeast New Mexico boys made up our team. We had one kid from Mississippi, and Larrabee and Nick Tate and Malio were from Niagara Falls. And the reason they were down here, Bob Larrabee was in the service out here, and he stayed, and then he brought 2 of his buddies down, Yankees down here. That's the only Yankees we had on the team. Those 3. Bob was a good ball player, but
Tell me about the dorm life. What was that like?
Miners Hall. Let me tell you, we had it made. We ate in the dorm, and Coach McCarty and his wife and Sandy and my boy's name. They had the kids, and they were our dorm parents, and they put up with it. It was terrific what they put up with. Because athletes, believe it or not, in those days, we were a little rambunctious. We did dumb things, and they put up with us. Miss McCarty caught me and a couple of more football players. We could get into the cafeteria, and the coaches and the basketball team was on their long trip back to Detroit and back east, and she caught us coming out of the cafeteria. We compensated for food, and she didn't kick us off, or they didn't kick us off. They could have, but boys will be boys, and we were definitely boys. And I had my room was right next to the telephone. It's the only phone they had. They had a phone on each floor, second floor, and the third floor. Down at the end of the hall, my room was right there. So all the phone calls, we would get weird phone calls coming in. But we were a family. I mean, I think everybody should be in the dorm 1 year. 1 year, because you get to know people. And my roommates were the best in the world. My first year, we had played ball together up until he was a freshman, and he moved, and then he quit. And then I got my bunkie. We was roommates from then on. He was a veteran. We had a lot of veterans that played in those days, and they loved us. Rookies, 17, 18-year-old high school hero, and those little boys 25, 26 years old. He wasn't a hero to them, but the dorm life was good. Had good food, and Miss McCarty and Coach McCarty were very good dorm parents. They put up with.
What else did you do? You tell me they put up with a lot of stuff. You want to tell us a little bit about what they put up with?
Yeah, I can tell you. We were making a lot of noise up on the third floor. We had been out and done some things that we weren't supposed to do. And she came up, third floor, and here I come out of the shower. And we didn't have individual shower. You had gang showers, you know. Of course, I'm not used to women being. And here she come running up the stairs, and here I come running out. What you doing up here? What you doing? Aaron. I said, Miss McCarty, I'm sorry, I didn't know you was up here. But she put up with us. I think I was one of her pets. I really do, because she trusted me to Mike was the boy. With Sandy, I could babysit and take him to the movie. The hula hoops were real popular, and Sandy and them could do it. I never could hula hoop. The other dorm, we had lots and lots of good card games. We played cards one weekend. We started Friday afternoon, and we broke up about midnight Sunday. And we had our refreshments there, and we had our room, and we played cards. And lots of money. It wasn't a lot of money then, but now, but it's lots of money. I've lost as much as $50. In fact, one day, right before Christmas, I won enough. I went down and bought my sweet thing, a mouton coat, and it cost $100. And so I came back that afternoon, and I lost $100, and I had to go hawk all my stuff so I could pay them before we went home. So we played Moon, we played dominoes, all kinds of cards, did little tricks, all kinds of short sheets and other things.
What other tricks did you do? There's more to that story.
No, I refuse to answer on grounds that it'll incriminate somebody.
Isn't the statute of limitations gone by now?
I would think so.
You had a good time.
We had a good time. We were close. There wasn't but 30 football, 33 football players, 12 basketball players, maybe 5 track, 6 that stayed in the dorm. At the time, blacks could not stay in the dorm. We had 2 blacks. Charlie Brown, who is inducted into the Hall of Fame, great man. He had a cousin, Cecil, that they had kind of for him company, because it wasn't cool to be black in the 50s, I guarantee you. And they couldn't stay in the dorm. They could eat in the dorm, but they could not stay in the dorm. And we had a beer bust. We did drink beer. And we went to the river, and Cecil I didn't like Cecil. And it was at night, and he passed out, and I put his head under the wheel of a car thinking maybe somebody would run over him, but he didn't. He was terrible. He cheated the cards. He was bad. But now Charlie was you couldn't ask for better. He'd been to service, he was older, and he was the star. I mean, you ask anybody in basketball, Charlie Brown. And that's when Charlie Brown, he's a clown, was real popular. Well, they would play that. We played out the old Coliseum. And in the old days, freshmen would play the varsity in basketball at the halftime. And all it was is they threw the ball out there and it was just knocked down, drag out. I mean, you didn't try to shoot it. It was just, you took it out on the freshman. We took it out on, I mean, it was serious. And it was good entertainment. It was good entertainment. And they quit it because it got rough. I mean, when you get a chance to hit somebody legally, you're going to do it, or I'm going to do it. I don't know anybody else. And when they got a chance to hit me legally, oh, can I tell you, one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to me in my life, playing at home, right out there on Kid Field. We had one little bar, it's all the face masks we had, one little bar about that big around, right here. And I used to have a long chin. I looked like a Neanderthal man. And I made a tackle, and that bar got under my chin. They tried to come out there and get it off, and the stands were going wild. Because my nickname was Poor Devil. And they had to get me off the field, take the screwdriver and take that mask off to get it up. And the stands were, and my girlfriend was up there too, looking like a dummy. And so that was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. Right there, it was a full stand. But they did. I'm gonna brag on. I was a character, and they'd start chanting, "We won't Poor Devil, we won't Poor Devil." And if I was on the bench, I'd sit there, and then they'd go wild. But we had a lot of fun. And then school, the teachers, I had Miss Duke. I took her for many. Dr. Cranford, Dr. Brady in English, Dr. Broadus in history, Dr. Sorensen, I don't know. Had great teachers, and they cared. And I had some turkey butts.
I'm going to hold you for just a second because they're gathering, and I don't know if you're going with this group.
Oh,
so
okay.
Hold on, let me find out. Talking about the teachers.
Teachers. We had an education teacher. I won't mention his name, but he was the head of the department. And here's his class. He taught. I have education of the unborn kid, psychology of the unborn kid, the preschool kid, the junior high kid. We had all these psychology courses. I would like to deviate, and he would start deviating. And here you are taking notes, but when it comes to the test, he didn't deviate, and it was pain in the butt. I mean, he deviated, and if you sit on the front row, where they always wanted me to sit, I don't know why. We he spit. That's a good word. I don't know any other word. He spewed. Anyhow, I would like to deviate. There you go. He'd deviate for an hour. Terrible, terrible. But then you had Dr. Sorensen. I think I'm pronouncing it now. He wrote a lot of books. He taught history of the Southwest. When you studied his course, and if you was riding drag on the tail on a trail drive, he made it so good that your nose would get stopped up with dirt, and you get dirt in your mouth. He was such a good history. I mean, you were there when the stampede. You were there. He was such a good. Dr. Broadus was a great history teacher. Dr. Ponsford, Dr. Brady, Miss Smith in English. By the way, I speak West Texan. Like I say, I got 21 hours of freshman English. I got 4 semesters of the first semester of freshman English, 3 the next, and I finally passed. But the reason I taught funny, and those English teachers could not teach me how to say to spell have to, wanna, gonna, isn't, yonder, and that's all. I never said in my life I have got to go. I have to go, or it isn't right, or it isn't right. No, it isn't right. And I had this one English teacher. She was only had her one time. She was a Yankee, and she was working on a doctorate's degree, and she was working on linguistics. And I took a test, and she sent it back. And I'd flunked it. I was trying to correct it. I finally raised my hand. She said, "What is it, Mr. Cranford?" And I said, "Just how do you spell it?" And she said, use it in a sentence. I said, it isn't right. And she said, it isn't right. I said, that's right. Don't you mean it isn't right? I said, no, it isn't right. I never used isn't in my life, or it is not right. And she invited me into her room. And this was back, I read Playboy. And that's when the teacher, I thought, here I am, a stud. And she was going to, so she gets in there and she shuts the door and she said, Mr. Cranford. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, would you record for me? I said, do what? She said, would you just sit here and talk and record for me? I said, sure. I passed. I got a seat. And all I had to do was just sit there and talk because she was getting it in linguistics and nobody had ever heard me. She had never heard anybody talk like me. And so she was a good teacher. I can't remember her name. She was only here one semester. I only took her once. Most of them I took 2 or 3 times because I had to. But I had Miss Smith, Grace Smith, taught me sophomore English. Great. Speech teacher, Mr. West. Dr. West. Fantastic. He tried to get me to major in speech. And here I am, a football player. And back in the 50s, football players didn't major in speech. It was, I don't know if it's like that, but the perception was that football players just didn't major in speech. But I did good in that. I can express myself.
What was your most memorable moment at the university?
Meeting my wife. She was a freshman, and I, being the Southern gentleman that I am, she was moving into the dorm, and I was over there helping freshman girls move in, being a gentleman. And I saw her coming. She's 5'2" as she stood on the tiptoes, made that 100 pounds. Here she comes, good looking. Here she comes, I, gave her the look. And she come up and said, I said, hi. And she said, I think I met you. And I said, oh, I don't think so. She said, well, you may not remember it. I was a Kappa Sig. And she said, I met you at a Kappa Sig party, and you was hanging by the rafters from your knees, looking down girls' dresses. And I said, oh, no, not me. That couldn't have been me. And we talked on, and I said, well, what are you doing tonight? She said, I said, how about a date tonight? She said, well, I got one. And I said, who is? She said, Kenny Baldwin. I said, Kenny Baldwin? He's a third-team center. I'm the star. So she broke the date. Second date, we were pinned. 5th date, we were engaged. That was in September. January, and midterm, we got married January 21st. And we lived until she died, 23 years. So that's about the most important thing that happened to me. Meeting my wife, she was a fantastic person. And of course, I'm fantastic too. I mean, I'm a nut. But I have fun.
Do you have any final closing thoughts as we wrap this up about the university, how it's changed?
I walked on campus today. I don't even know that I'm here. I mean, it has changed. The Kappa Sig house not here. The Zeta house is still here. The library is completely changed. The sub is completely changed. And all those buildings. I will say that I got a great education at Texas Western College. I got very upset when they changed the name of the University of Texas El Paso because I hate Texas University. I hate them. That's it. But they wouldn't recognize us when we won, when we started winning the NC2A and all the track. And then all of a sudden they want us. I would send my kid out here if they, and I hope we got a football player that our team plays against. And he's thinking about coming out here, and I'm going to try to recruit him. It's a great place. It was small, 3,000 students, and that was it. I mean, I would say I knew a lot of them, and a lot of them knew me, because like I say, when you chant, we won't pour that one, we won't pour that one. That was me.
Thank you. That was fabulous.